So remember that whenever we get done with class, I'll upload it to YouTube and it'll be called SOWEGA September 6th, 2022 PM. Since I have two classes, this one is the PM class. So let's get started by walking around, opening, closing our hands, pumping our arms, just getting our bodies warm and ready for exercise. We don't want to exercise when our bodies are cold. It increases our chance of injury. I'm going to walk back and forth and try to get my camera at the perfect angle for a full body view as we get started with our warm-ups. Remember, we can do this seated, standing. We can do a combination. Always listen to your body so that, you know, if you're ever wearing out, if you ever feel pain, just make the adjustment, sit down, use support. I have this table here. I like to use it. I have a chair that I can use. You know, you may just feel a little different some days and want to have the support of something, and other days you may be able to do it without any support. Just listen to your body and follow what it tells you. All right, so getting ready for our warm-up exercises, we want to think about body structure and how we're holding our body weight. I have my feet, well, they're probably a little wider. Let's pull them in a little, about hip or shoulder width apart. It widens my stance. I have a nice soft bend in my knee, good posture, like a string that goes up my spine to the ceiling. My shoulders are relaxed and I have my weight distributed on both legs. So this is a good body structure no matter where you are, not just in Tai Chi, but it keeps from putting any tension on any of our joints, and tension can cause pain. So we want to hold our body in a way that's nice and supportive. Let's start with our necks. Let's bring our, or we only have one, don't we? Our neck. We have two neck exercises, but one neck. And follow those hands down. Bringing those hands up towards our chin and chest. Pushing away from our body and following those hands down. You can tuck your chin back as you're pulling your hands towards you. Let me get you an up close view. So it's kind of like when you're pulling, okay, you pull that chin back, it makes a double chin. As you're pulling those hands, you can pull that chin in. You don't have to. That may hurt your neck. And if it hurts your neck, don't do that. Or you can have a little bit control of just tucking a little bit, pushing back out and down. And that's just another way to exercise those neck muscles and warm up and stretch those necks. It feels a little awkward. That's not typically how we place our head, but it just gives that little movement from back to front, following those hands down. The other neck exercise starts out that same way. Drop one hand, follow, looking towards that shoulder, coming back to the front, switch. You may feel a little bit of tension as you go side to side, as you stretch those neck muscles. Continue to breathe as you go through these exercises. Try not to hold your breath. Just do a quick breathe check to make sure you are continuing to breathe. You're not going as far as you can go. You're just going until you feel that slight stretch. Might hear some popping of your joints even as you move that head. My hair's stuck in my necklace. All right. Shoulder circles. My hands are to my sides and I'm drawing little circles going forward, and then roll those shoulders back. Probably feels like a little massage you give yourself. Roll those shoulders forward, and then roll those shoulders back. Continuing to breathe as you do those movements. Big shoulder circle, up and push down. Inhale, up and push down. Exhale. One more. Now for our spine, let's grab our ball. We're going to separate heavens and earth. That hand that's on top is going to come and push down towards the ground, keeping that soft bend in your elbow. And this hand will come up and push up towards the ceiling. So you're pushing down and up at the same time, stretching that spine vertically. Come back to your ball and switch. Stretching that spine, keeping those soft bends in your elbows, not locking those joints. You want to think about breathing. Your breathing is inhaling as you come to your ball and exhaling as you separate those hands. To me, that gives you a little deeper of a stretch as you exhale with that push and separation of your movement. Inhale and exhale. All right, come back to your ball. Now let's take that ball for a ride, moving our torso side to side, switching hands, going side to side, going in the direction of the hand that's on top, just above that leg, switch, come across just above that leg. So again, we're not going as far as we can. We're just stretching our spine horizontally, warming it up, getting it ready to do our Tai Chi movements. You go through these stretches every single morning, take you about 15 minutes. We take longer on here because I do a lot of more talking. But you could do this every day to get your body warmed up and ready for the day. Next is for our hips. So this is where we start to engage our lower body, specifically our weight-bearing joints. We shift our weight to one leg, place our heel forward, our hands go back, pause in the middle, and put that toe back and forward. Like a leg swing. Now, I said I was going to switch back and forth, so let me do that here. Shifting the weight to the other leg, and then put that other heel forward, pause in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. That gives your leg a little bit of a break for holding your weight, rather than keeping it on that one as you leg swing. Take your time as you shift the weight and as you move that leg from front to back. Shift the weight. Remember, we don't get in a hurry. We do everything slow, smooth, and continuous. Notice that back leg, or as it goes back, it's like a kickstand. Making a staggered stance, which is more stable. The other warm up for our hip is shifting the weight to one side with our hands stacked, and they go in the direction of the weight shift, stopping at our frame, the frame of our body. I like to look at myself in the camera to say, yep, right there. We'll tap out. Bring that foot back, switch our hands, shift the weight, and tap that foot out. You can skip the tapping the foot out and just shift the weight. That's no problem. Again, just listen to your body and do what's comfortable for you. Maintain that upright position. We don't want to lean into any of these movements. Once we start leaning, that's going towards falling, and that definitely goes against what we're trying to do here. Think slow, smooth, and continuous, and remember to breathe. Very good. Next is for our knees. We have our loose fists. I keep mine down by my hips, but you can have them up here at your waist too, as long as you're not holding tension. Let's shift the weight, lift the foot, tap that toe forward, and punch the opposite hand. Let me back up a little so you can see that foot. Shift the weight, lift, tap and punch, bring it back, shift the weight, lift, tap and punch. So I'm going one foot and then the other foot. Taking your time as you shift the weight, making sure you feel in control of yourself as you let that one leg hold your weight, tapping that foot out. If you ever want to challenge yourself, you can tap that foot out a little higher in the air. But you don't have to. That's just a choice in how to make that movement a little more challenging. You may have days where you have really good balance and days you have really bad balance. I experienced that myself. So some days that's easy for me, and other days I'm going to keep my foot close to that ground. The next for our knees is a step out. So we shift the weight to one leg. We step heel toe, shift the weight to that front foot, not completely. There's still weight on the back foot, and notice the back foot is still flat on the ground. Punch that opposite hand, bring it back, feet side by side, shift, step, shift and punch, bring it back, feet side by side, shift, step, heel toe, shift and punch, bring it back, feet side by side, shift, step, shift and punch, bring it back, side by side. Last time, shift, step, heel toe, shift the weight, bring it back, side by side. Now for our ankles, shift the weight to one leg and go heel, toe, just rocking that foot back and forth. Very good. Bring the foot back, shift the weight, and heel toe with the other foot. Working on that ankle, the range of motion and strength of that ankle joint. Bring it back, shift. Now let's go big toe, little toe, or side to side. So that gives us the other direction of that ankle joint. Bring the foot back, shift the weight, and the other foot, little toe, big toe, side to side, working that ankle joint. Every now and again, do a breath check to make sure you're breathing and not holding your breath. And just do a quick posture check to make sure you're holding your body in a way that's good and supportive of your weight. Give yourself a little shake out. Those are our warm-up movements. Are we good with those? Yeah. I know this isn't new to y'all, so I kind of pushed on through. But always know, if you have questions for me, just interrupt and ask, and that's how I like our class to be. It's just a nice, easy conversation, and always feeling welcome to ask. So let's work on our Tai Chi series of movements, beginning with commencement. And let's just go ahead and add in open and close, just because y'all are familiar with it and they just go so perfectly together. So commencement, we do that, check our body structure, having that upright posture, our weights on both legs. So when we do that first movement of our hands coming up, nothing's happening with our legs. It's when our hands come down that we shift the weight to our right foot. Step with our left, bring those hands in and up, and shift as we go out and bring that right foot forward. Hands come back, open and close. So the footwork of commencement is that step forward, where it is a left step forward. We shift right, step left, shift left, and bring that right foot forward. Our hands come up, remember the soft bend, and down towards our bodies, up, out, and back in. And here's our open and close. Remember, Dr. Lamb says about that ball where, you know, he's wanting to show off how pretty that ball is and he wants to share it. He wants you to play with it, but you don't want to. So you bring it back and he wants to give you one more chance. Oh, look, it's so pretty. Oh, you still don't want to play with it. So that sometimes is a helper on showing off that ball. They don't want it, but you give them one more chance and they still don't want it. So that's a way that can help you remember what to do with your hands. So let's do those first two movements a few times. And commence. Open and close. Good. Back. Let's do it again. And commence. Open and close. Remember, open and close is a breath movement where when you inhale, it naturally opens your hands, and when you exhale, it naturally closes your hands from your lungs, filling up with air and emptying with air. So that's a great movement to sit or stand, but I like to sit so I can relax and not have to worry about stability and balance. But it's a good one to just practice breathing. Sit, close your eyes, inhale and exhale as your hands open and close. Let's do it another time and then we'll get to our single whip. And commence. Up. Open and close. Very good. All right, now for our single whip. Our first single whip is to the right. So it looks like this. We're coming from open and close. We shift left. We step right. Push, turn, separate, following that left hand. So when we stepped out into an angle. So my heel and my toe are about in the same line. So it's not a big step. It's just a slight step forward with that angle. When you put that foot to an angle, it naturally has your body follow that direction. So when you push your hands out, it's to that angle. And when you open up those hands, you're following your left hand, but you're continuing to move both. Or I just looked at the wrong one. Continue to open both. It's easy to forget the hand that you're not looking at. You know, the saying out of sight, out of mind. And so you can go like this And forget that that one was supposed to open up too. And you can feel the difference when you open both hands. It really opens up that chest. You can feel those muscles really opening up as your shoulders come back with the separation of those hands in single whip. So just make sure that you're also moving the hand that you're not looking at. So here from open and close, remember we shift left, step right. Now it's time for our hand movement. Push those hands out, keeping that soft bend. Remember, we're not Frankenstein ever. We keep that soft bend out, turn our hands away from us. Then separate, following that left hand, continuing to open both here. So as soon as I stepped that foot out, I gave about 50-50 weight to each leg. So I adjusted the weight from shift left. So now all the weight's on my left foot. And then I stepped right. And when I stepped right, I adjusted weight to where there's about 50-50 weight. Now, if you like a little more weight on your back leg, so more like a 60-40, that's fine. But 50-50 kind of gives you just an easy round number, just to let you know that it's about the same. All your weight's not on that back foot while that foot's stepped out forward. You did make a weight adjustment before you adjust it back to that left foot and bring your right foot back to start for waving hands and clouds. So let's go over that again. Thinking about that weight shift or the weight adjustment. We're here from open and close. We shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, eyes following that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot back and our hand down. And you know that gets us ready for waving hands and clouds. Any questions about our single whip? Okay, let's put the top three or the first three movements together and commence. Open and close. Single whip. Shift, step, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift, bring that right foot and right hand back. So now we're ready for waving hands and clouds. So let's think about the footwork of waving hands and clouds being that Tai Chi walking, slowly walking to the side, where we'll bring that right foot back and then we step out right, a little wider than hip width, shift left, step right, right at hip width apart, shift left, step right, shift, step, shift, step. So we're walking sideways Tai Chi style by shifting the weight to one leg, shift, stepping out, shift, and then you can think of this as a follow step. Now remember, in waving hands and clouds, we take 3 steps to the right first, and a step includes the step, shift, and the follow step. That's one step, shift, step, shift, follow step. That's that second step, shift, step, shift, follow step. That's the third step. Now, if you're just practicing for the sake of gaining balance, you can do that Tai Chi walking. We talked about that last week, and how we can walk to the side, shifting our weight, keeping our body upright, thinking slow, smooth, and continuous with our movement control, following our Tai Chi principles, and starting to really get those benefits specifically for balance, gaining strength in our stabilizer muscles as we move slow, smooth, and continuous Tai Chi walking to the side. So I got to that wall, and now I started going to my left. So that's our waving hands and clouds stepping. But we can easily pull out the steps from our waving hands and clouds and just simply work on balance and coordination and strengthening our stabilizer muscles, and never mind the actual Tai Chi movement, but that does your body good in a different way. Well, in the same way, but you're not having to worry about, I only have to do 3, or I have to step and wave, turn, like you don't have to worry about the hand and the footwork. You can just do that footwork and gain that benefit. All right, so let's talk more about the waving hands and clouds with the actual hand movement. So we came from the single whip where we brought that right foot and right hand down. Now we're going to step out to the right and then switch our hands. Turn, shift right, step left, switch our hands. Turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step and switch, shift and turn. You can double it up like that to have less steps, where your turn and shift happen at the same time, and then your step and switch happen at the same time. So I step, so shift as I turn, step and switch, shift as I turn, step and switch, shift as I turn, step and switch, shift as I turn. Some people find that more helpful to only have 2 rather than the 4, but you can make the decision as far as, okay, I do here, step and switch, shift and turn, 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 step and switch, shift and turn. To the middle for open and close. So y'all taught me turn instead of wave. And I've loved it ever since y'all taught me that, because it is a turn. It's not a wave. It's just like our torso movement when we're doing our warm-ups and we're taking our ball from side to side. That's a turn. So my body is what's turning. The torso is turning. My ball is just going along for the ride. And so that's the same thing here. Our hands are just different. We have one hand that's sort of crossed body and the other hand down here by our hip as we turn. And we go in that direction of the hand that's crossed our body, opening ourselves up, switching our hands, and turn. So those hands aren't what's moving. So it's our body. Here, here, here. So this is like the Karate Kid movement where it's wax on, wax off. Similar to that. just experience that movement side to side and really feel the flow of the torso movement and the hands switching as you get to that side. And just remind yourself of how similar it is to this torso movement in the beginning when we warm up our spine. Exactly the same, just the hand is different. And that's why the warm-up is so great, because it teaches us that movement. So that when we get to waving hands in clouds, then we know what moving that torso feels like. It is here. Bring the hand down and the other hand comes up. Turn the torso, switch the hands. Here. Switch. Here. Again, that's a movement you can sit and just breathe and think slow, smooth, and continuous as you go side to side. And that's nice and relaxing, reducing any kind of stress or anxiety that you're feeling. Just helps you calm down. But when we think about putting the two together with our footwork and our hands, then it's, let me go back to single width here. So when I step right, that's when I turn to the right. Switch. Now I've stepped left because I did that follow step. Now I'm going to turn to the left. Or sorry, to the right. No. Y'all know I get confused sometimes thinking about mirror image. So I catch myself thinking I'm saying it wrong, but I'm supposed to be saying it wrong. So when I step to the right, that's when I turn to the right. When I follow step left, then that's when I turn to the left. Step to the right, turn to the right. Step left, turn to the left. So that's that rhythm to it. Step right, wave or turn right, step left, turn left. Step right, turn right, step left, turn left. Step, turn, step, turn. Are you feeling the smoothness of that movement?
A little bit.
I got to take the lid off. So just you can practice the parts of that, just that stepping, shift, step, step, shift, step, shift, step. So it's slow. I'm just making up my hands, just a little choo-choo kind of movement. Little circles with my hands as I shift the weight and walk side to side, practicing that step, and then even seated, practicing that torso movement of what that feels like as you turn side to side, practicing both parts of it, and then practicing it together, whether you practice it this way, where you, step, switch, turn, shift, 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 step, switch, turn. So that's breaking down the movement into 4 words, which is step, switch, turn, shift. Okay, so that's the 4-word version of waving hands in clouds. You can double it up and do, let me go back to my single whip here. You can do step and switch, shift and turn. 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 So two things were happening at the same time. When you stepped, you switched your hands. Sorry, switched your hands. And then two things were happening at the same time. As you turned, you were shifting that weight. Then you stepped and switched at the same time. And then you shift and you turned at the same time. Some people find that easier to do just two things at the time, and then you only feel like you're doing two things, not four things. That just gives you some options. One of how to practice the movement, doing just lower body and then doing just upper body, and then practicing waving hands and clouds either with 4 words or with the 2 pairs of words. Okay, so let's come back to open and close, single whip, and then go into our waving hands and clouds. So I'm going to move over here closer to this table so I have this room over here. All right, here we go. From open and close, single whip, shift right, shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, following that left hand, shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back. Here we go, waving hands and clouds. Step right, switch hands, wave right, shift, step, wave, shift, wave, shift, step, wave. So you have the switch and step, turn and wave, and turn and shift together. And that helps you be more slow, smooth, continuous. Back to the middle for open and close. I'm going to do it this time without talking. And you make your choice on the words that you want to say to yourself, if you want to say them out loud, whatever helps you with the movement. I'll do it without talking. So from open and close, single whip. Waving hands and clouds. To the middle for open and close. Close it out. Let's do that again from open and close. Single whip. Waving hands and clouds. The middle for open and close. Any questions? Good. All right, let's do it. Let's add commencement in from from the very, very top. And commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Middle for open and close. So you may be out of practice from doing this, and that's okay. We'll just get back in the practice and get more smooth with our movements and think about it less and let our bodies just do what it knows to do. So now we can add single whip and waving hands in clouds to the left. The first time we did it to the right, now we're going to do it to the left. And it works the same way, it's just our opposite foot. So at the end of that open and close, we shift right, step left, push, turn, separate, following that right hand, waving hands in clouds. Shift right, bring that left foot back, waving hands in clouds, step out left, switch, wave to the left or turn to the left, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. Last time, shift, step, switch, turn, and to the middle for open and close, and close it out. Hopefully I said the right directions. After years of teaching wave, sometimes my brain reverts back, but I really do like the term turn. So let's again start with that waving or the that first open and close. Let's wave hands in clouds to the right, and then finish it out with the single whip and waving hands in clouds to the left. All right, that open and close, that very first one. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Step and switch. Turn and shift. Keeping our bodies upright. Middle for open and close. Single whip to the left. Waving hands in clouds. Step and turn and shift. Step and switch. And to the middle for open and close. And close it out. Those are our basic 6 movements. So let's practice them again. We're doing good on time today, y'all. It's because I know y'all are familiar with it, and I've not had to completely break it all down and teach it. So let's go from the top of commencement and all the way through. Here we go, and commence. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. To the middle for open and close. And close it out. I get lost in that waving hands and clouds, and I just can get in that groove and just step and wave, and I find it so relaxing because the movement has such rhythm with the step and a turn, a step and a turn. Just the rhythm of it is soothing.
Yeah, I have to count to make sure I don't keep going.
And if you do keep going, it's okay. It's harder when we're in class and we're supposed to like all be in the same movement. And but I've always said, I'll take any of the movements out and just repeat them. Just repeat those movements and really think about breath and really think about posture or really think about gentle resistance. Whichever of the principles you want to focus on, and just let your body repeat the movement. I've never really felt that connection with single whip, but you could easily shift back and forth and go side to side with single whip. I've just never done that with single whip, but that may be the one that really speaks to you. I love the shoulder circle. I could sit and do shoulder circle. I could sit and do open and close. Definitely waving hands and clouds. I've used, even here, I mean, you can, like our spinal warm-up where we take that ball side to side, you could do that hand movement with the feet work of waving hands and clouds here. So it's kind of a hybrid waving hands and clouds. And it may help you with the rhythm of waving hands and clouds. Or you just might like the turn. So as you progress and with your comfort of Tai Chi, that's the things that you can do. You take the movements, you apply the principles, and you're going to get the benefits from it. If you know the exact movements in the exact way, that's great. I mean, that's wonderful. It's really good for your brain to have the memory to do all the movements in that certain order. And it's like a dance whenever you're together with your group and everybody's doing it at the same time and all the everyone's together. It's just beautiful. It's like a dance. But I know that our goal is not to do a beautiful dance. You know, we're not going to perform on stage. That's not our goal. Our goal is all those great benefits that we know Tai Chi gives us, where it's internally calming. It can, in our balance, you know, we're trying not to have falls. We're trying to have better mobility. And so just breaking out the movements and applying the principles will give us those benefits. So yes, I'm here to teach you our Tai Chi movements, but I just want you to give yourself the permission to just enjoy the movements and apply the principles and get the benefits in that way. All right, so let's give ourselves a nice fist massage, unless y'all want to do it one more time. Y'all want to do it one more time?
It doesn't matter.
All right, let's do it one more time. All right, here we go. Hold on, I got a visitor. Oh, come on in. This is my fellow Tai Chi instructor, Angie. I did some signs for her, and she's come to pick them up. All right, so let's do this one last time from the top with commencement. Here we go. Open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Remember pairing those movements as you shift and turn, step and switch. To the middle for open and close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open and close. And close it out. Very good. All right, give yourself a nice fist massage. That look good? Breaking up that lactic acid so you don't get any kind of soreness. You can do a little fist massage back here if you feel a little sore in your back, wherever you feel a little sore. Now let's gather. Feel a little tension. We don't like that, so let it go. Gather and release. Now big shoulder circle. One more. And then to end class, we always have our right fist representing our strength, our left fingers all together representing our friendship, and our thumb representing our humility. I'm sorry, I always laugh on the humility part. Because just as soon as I get a little confidence, I'm always reminded to be humble. Strength, friendship, and humility. And in mutual respect, we say namaste. Thank y'all so much. We're getting on. We're on week 4, and I foresee us moving towards our advanced movements within the next couple weeks. But please let me know if there's anything on these basics that you just want any clarification on before we move forward. But if you decide later you want to come back to it, we can do that too. You know, I'm flexible, okay?
I've been doing low hand patting and also the acupuncture.
Very good. I'm telling you, that the natural way is just a good way if you can get benefits from it.
Yeah, you can feel the difference, you know.
Mhm.
Neat.
Very good. Well, I'll see y'all next week. And in the meantime, y'all just let me know if I can do anything for you, okay?
All right.
All right.
Enjoyed it.
All right, me too.
Have a
Bye.
good week. Bye-bye.